So I'm blessed to have the opportunity every day to take my passion, which is fitness, and help people of all different ages. I have clients that are, what grade are you guys in? Eight. So I have clients that are from 10 years old to in their 70s. So I get a wide variety of people at different levels, different jobs. Uh, So it makes my day fun. It makes my day different because some days, I deal with a lot of older people. Some days I deal with high school, almost all high schoolers, and then guys my age, college students. So it gives you a really good versatility in your day and makes every day different. And in my opinion, not just, I found out that I wasn't going to be good just sitting in a desk every day because, you know, that's great if you're able to do that, but that wasn't going to be something that I was going to be good at.
Do you consider this just a job or is this your career?
I consider it a lifestyle. Uh, I kind of struggled with after I got out of college. Just I didn't have anything that I loved or just wanted to do, and I always was an athlete, played sports, and when I got the opportunity to go into fitness, I took that drive, that passion, and went into that and was able to just kind of unexpectedly uh, grow from that into an actual career.
How long have you done this kind of thing?
Uh, about 13 years. Uh, Kind of got a little bit later of a start just because the fitness industry's really evolved. Like since I've started doing it, especially here, it wasn't as big of a thing. And then just with technology, obviously the internet, social media, it's given a lot of different avenues that there weren't really available even when I started. You had to be kind of a top tier, uh, big name in some other industry to kind of have a online presence. And I'm sure, as you guys know, as much time as you spend on your phones, social media, there's people that are, you know, just a little bit older than you that are, you know, really able to dive into that and, start a career from that.
Um, so, what do you think you enjoy most about your job as a personal
Kind of like what I started with is the longer I've done it, the more rewarding it is. Getting to work with different types of people.
Yes. Hey, Jasmine Rogers' mother is an employer. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Just because, you know, when I was younger, because I'd always been an athlete, that was what I was used to. And the longer I've done it, it's just, to me, been a blessing, and I get a lot of satisfaction that able to have such a broad uh, types of clients that I'm able to help, and so many people that I've been able to, have. I see some of my clients more than I see, my family, unfortunately, which is kind of cool because, you're able to really get to know people when you spend, 3 hours a week with them. They sometimes just need to talk about their day, and maybe, you just listen. And sometimes you can just, you know, be a positive voice and help them during tough times also. So you get to do a lot of, I would say, listening. Uh, people that are going through really hard times, and then you get to be there for the victories too. When they have kids, when they get married, graduations. So it's really rewarding with that.
Kind of delve into that a little deeper. You mentioned that you you deal with a lot of different people, different ages. Um, without naming any names or getting too specific, who's your oldest client, or describe your oldest client?
My oldest client, I love her to death. She's 72 years old. I've trained her for probably, and I know that's archaic to you guys, uh, but she is probably my, she's an extremely strong woman. I've trained her for over 10 years. Uh, she's, like an extended family member to me. She's, I consider her kind of an aunt, or, you know, I seek her wisdom on things. So it's always good. That's another thing that, working with people from different walks of life is you can take, their experiences, whether it's professionally or, socially, whatever, and, use that as things that you can apply in your life.
So it's almost like you're learning from your client.
Exactly.
Let's go to the other end of the spectrum. Who are some of the younger people you train?
So for instance, this week or last week, excuse me, I had 3 of my high school girls signed to play college softball. So I train several high schoolers, and I have middle schoolers also. One of my middle schoolers, I've trained her since she was a 4th grader, and she is as tough, as strong. She does anything I ask. She may roll her eyes at me sometimes, but that's just because we have a good relationship, and she's an extremely hard worker, and I'd put her up against anybody.
When you're teaching training someone like that, are you training them on specific? Is it overall fitness, or are you training them specifically for their sport?
Everybody's an individual. That's something that uh, unfortunately I don't feel like everybody takes as much time to really listen to whoever they're working with, because we all, have different hurdles we have to climb, and that's always going to change too. You know, with age, with, we get sick, stuff going on at home, whatever that may be. Uh, some days you're just not going to be your best, even if you're, you know, a 5-star athlete. Like, you may be, struggling that day. But just like you guys here at school, you just try to get through that the best you can, and try harder the next day when you do feel better. And it's just like with school and in life, it's trying to be as consistent as possible. And when you are consistent, those habits will lead to, empower you in the future.
Um, how did you decide on this career path? We talk a lot in this class about we take personality tests, things like that, learning styles, and we try to figure out what we might be good at. How did you settle on personal training as a career path?
So you guys are, you know, whether you realize it yet or not, are actually really, really lucky that you have, for one, such a great teacher, but for two, that you guys have an opportunity to have a class like this. Uh, we didn't have a class like this in school. Uh, you know, so even though, and we believe this or not, I know this is scary, the internet was in the prehistoric days. So you were kind of just whatever was around you. And, for some people, that's a lot of options. For others, depending on where you live, your family, that can be very limiting. Uh, so take advantage of a class like this that you guys can, see what you're good at, what you're interested in, because from my perspective, you all have talents, whether you've realized them or not, but you want to do something that you're not going to dread every day, because you're going to excel at it more. if you're, you know, no job is perfect. That's life. But you want to take whatever skills and gifts, that you've been given, and you want to work hard and try to make those, you know, access you to a career that you will be best suited for.
How did you choose it? How did you get down that path?
Because the my as your teacher will could easily tell you, my number one love from the time I was born, I always had a ball in my hand. I loved sports. Uh, and because I just kind of took school for granted, I had opportunities to play in college, but unfortunately for me, I didn't. That was all I had, tunnel vision. I
So you're
did.
going to a Christian school.
I didn't put as much work in the classroom as I did athletically, so I just assumed that that would be taken care of, and that was a lesson that I had to learn the hard way. And so that being said, I had to just kind of go to college with no direction, and had to work a lot of hard jobs that were not fun. I didn't get paid very much, but it humbled me. Uh, and because of my love of sports, I always leaned to that direction. It was always still a part of my life, and that's how I veered towards fitness.
um, Going to tell them a little bit about where you work and how the gig works.
So I started at a corporate gym, uh, which I don't know if you guys were even alive at the time. You might have been, maybe your parents or something I started out working at a gym, The Rush, and it it closed. Gold's Gym bought them. It was a good experience. It was a good starting point, but you only kind of have so far of a ceiling. I got the opportunity to go out on my own, so I have my own business now. I work out of a gym called Frankie's Body Shop. He's an amazing uh, leader, and we are officially our own bosses. He is a mentor, and we get to work in a. If you guys got to go in there, we're so lucky because we get to work in shorts every day. There's music playing. It's not a real job. So some would say. Uh, so we are very lucky, and but you have to work hard to do it because you are on your own. It's a full time job. You have to do all your own marketing, your promotion. Like if people get sick, people like when it snowed a couple weeks ago, I didn't get to work for a week, so I don't have a salary job. So my income is going to be when COVID hit. I didn't get to work for 6 weeks. So even though my business was doing well, that completely changed the landscape for us. Uh, so things like that, when you are a small business, you have to really prepare uh, with saving, and you have to plan for you know. It's great when things are going well, but in life, no matter what you do, there's going to be things that you can't control.
So, what skills or education are important for success in your field?
So you don't have to have a college degree. Uh, you just have to be certified with a national organizations. There's tons of them. You can now do it, just online. Uh, what I would say though is to keep that, you have to do continued education courses. You, it's ever evolving too, and when I went back to school, it just gave me, whatever you do, you don't just go to college, whatever your trade school, and then you quit learning. Life, I know you guys are like, man, I can't wait till I get to high school. I can't wait till I get out of high school. It's whatever job you're in, never stop learning because there's always going to be other people that are going to be working, that are going to be learning. And in a job like mine, uh, it's a competition thing. So not only I love it, I have a passion, I want to be better for my clients, but at the end of the day, it's a business. If I get complacent and don't keep sharpening my tools, there's going to be somebody that's going to take my business. And, you know, I'm on the older end from, some of the people I work with, so I have to work harder. I can't get away with, eating bad 3 days a week. Uh, when I was 25, I could do that because you're, I you have to be so much more dedicated in what I do the older you get. So it's just about evolving, continued learning, and knowing what uh, industry you're in and what your competition and coworkers are doing.
If you did go to college or technical school involving this work, where did you go?
I got my 2-year associate's degree from Pillissippi, and then I got my bachelor's degree from University of Cumberland's. Uh, and I went to a few other schools while I was trying to find out my niche in life, but they were good learning tools and experiences.
Um, what did you end up taking in college?
So it was a lot of it was an applied science degree, so a lot of anatomy, kinesiology, about the body, things that I was already doing in my job, but just being able to be even more in depth uh, learning and a lot of leadership classes to help lead people that you work with.
What would you say is a challenge or obstacle that you've had to overcome in your career or in your life to get to having your own business training?
Uh, just kind of what I was touching on is uh, finding out what you are passionate about and what is something that you are going to be driven to do, and that because anything you do, you obviously want to work hard at. You want to, do all that you need to do, but is it just like he said, is it just a job or is it a career? So that was that was tough for me just because like I said, immaturity looked only towards sports. So, you know, you guys have take advantage of the opportunities you have, reach out to people that you things that you're interested in. Don't be scared to ask questions. You obviously have a tool in your hand that can give you a lot of information, but use people that are doing things that you think are interesting. Ask questions. Don't ever be scared to ask questions. Don't ever think a question's dumb. It may be something that once you talk to them, you're like, it sounds cool, but I probably wouldn't want to do that. But it could also be the flip side of that is something that could be very, it may lead you to a career that you never thought you would even, be interested in. It can be a lifelong job for you and career.
Yeah, as adults who are passionate about something, love to be questioned about it.
Right.
We love for somebody, a younger person, to be interested and ask questions. It's like, oh, they care. I mean, that's why I like to help with Eagle News because I used to do that. Uh, Derek, and and I both have in common that we loved sports as kids, and that was kind of our focus. We came at it from different ways. He was an athlete. I was always on the sidelines watching, but we both kind of came to our careers through athletics. I started as a sports writer, photographer, things like that, to stay involved. He started training athletes, and ultimately, I would guess, are you at your dream place with a job, or do you have somewhere else you'd like to go?
Uh, I never thought that I would have the opportunity to be at a place that I am, but I think that you always want to be hungry. That's in anything that you're doing. Like I said, uh, don't be complacent. It's even if you're doing extremely well, like always try to be better at whatever you do. Try to gain more knowledge. Uh, you know, I know when I was your age, it was hard for me to, just like Mr. Davis and I were just saying, to ask questions to adults because, you know, I thought that I knew a lot. And, that's not taking anything away from you guys. You probably do know a lot. You're probably very smart individuals, but we can all learn. I'm sure you guys could teach me a ton. So uh, just like I said, never stop that, and it will definitely pay dividends for you.
So the last official question is, what advice would you give someone who's considering a career like
For one, it's a job that, to me, you have to live the lifestyle in order to do it. Uh, kind of like what I was saying earlier, I don't expect somebody to pay me for their time if I'm not living up to what I'm preaching. Uh, so, I have to set my lifestyle to a standard in order for me to expect my clients to. So, you need to live a healthy lifestyle, work hard, and try to be, you need to be empathetic though, and a good listener and communicator because, like I touched on before, everybody has, comes from different walks of life, has different health issues, and some people are going to be easy to deal with, just like you guys know. Some of your friends, or maybe not such friends, are easy to talk to. You totally get where they're coming from. Others, you have to kind of, you know, talk to a little differently to understand what they're saying. So, and that's going to be in anything you do. That's just part of being uh, a good human. Is communicating, being patient, and understanding to others. So,
you hit on something there that we've talked about, how soft skills like communication, leadership, things like that can really set you apart when you're trying to get a job or a client. Maybe there may be someone that's got just as many skills as you do, as many credentials, etc. But it's those soft skills, uh, being empathetic, things like that, that set it apart. I know you well, and I've always been able to talk to you. You've always been able to talk to me, but I know that that was also an obstacle for you, especially when you first got into
right.
training. That the communication piece and that sort of thing.
Yeah, to me, it's something that I'm, uh, you know, take pride in, that I've uh, matured in my career, that uh, I just didn't have the experience, didn't have the maturity of working outside of. I coached basketball, high schoolers, middle schoolers. Everybody that I dealt with was in an athletic space. So when I saw people that were trying to better themselves, 50-year-olds, whatnot, that they've never exercised before. Uh, it was hard for me to understand, like, you know, they didn't have the same mind frame. They didn't. It was just a taking yourself outside of what you think and being able to be empathetic, be understanding, and something I know today that's hard for all of us, but I see in my work every day. Your phone's a tool, but if someone's paying me for an hour, if I'm looking at my phone the whole time while they're speaking to me, while they're asking me questions, that's a sign that they're not important to me, that I've got better things to do. Somebody's texting me, even though sometimes that text may be something business related. Uh, Obviously, there's emergencies, things like that. But, I've had people comment to me that matters to them. And, I try to do that to whatever, like I said earlier. Sometimes people are, you never know what somebody's going through. Uh, so sometimes just being a listening, being a ear, being positive, that can go a long way. And sometimes just venting and getting that exercise is great therapy. So, if you're a little aggravated, if things are tough at home, it's a great way to, you're going to feel better. Uh, so I would just say, you guys, any kind of exercise you can get, it will help you in other facets of life.
This is our 8th grade girls band group that plays woodwinds. So they get some physical activities. You guys are marching, right?
Hey, I have one of my clients. She's a country music artist. I've had band members of Alabama's band, UT's band. So you guys are, musically talented. My mother played piano for years, still does. So you guys, if music's your passion, then use that. There's so many ways that you know you can use that to be a job if you find that later after you guys get out of high school. But just you know use that as a, maybe it's something you just want to do through high school, but it's there's always skills like that are going to help you later in life. Though you may work with you may be in an interview and somebody that has a passion for music, even though you haven't played since high school, you guys share that may get you a job, because you're able to talk about that and bond over that. Friendships, everything. So
Networking is huge.
yes, networking is huge, and being able to do it online is great, and that will serve you. But being able to do it face to face is still very valuable.
All right, we've got some time for questions, guys. There's only 8 of us in here, so there's no reason to be shy. He's got to speak in front of a group of about 30 in a minute. So let's give him some hard ones and get him ready for that. Questions? Anybody? Lydia, you're assigned a question. What if, I'm not talking about you specifically, but what do personal trainers generally make in this area?
Kind of this area, the kind of market is around, like, for a one-on-one is around like $45 to $60 an hour. Uh, if you do like multiple people, that could increase or decrease. Like, I train groups of 3, one-on-one, hours, half hours. I've trained teams before where I'll have 12 people, at one time. So it varies, but you your market value is obviously, there is a market value, but you obviously, depending on experience, your value is what you're worth.
How did you start getting clients?
Uh, well, having my couple of years of experience, and then you live in the gym, you reach out to people, uh, offer free trials. A lot of people don't know that they would even be interested in something like that. It's also something that you guys might be interested in, as far as like you can trade. Somebody that does hair, you're like, you do my hair for free, I'll train you. Things like that, you know networking, but can save you money doing, and you're getting to hang out with a friend. So
You have a hairdresser that's recommending you as a
exactly,
personal trainer?
and jobs like that, and just all kinds of different jobs, word of mouth. Uh, so that's how you start building, relationships, clientele.
Got a question from Linda over here.
She's on the edge of her seat.
Oh, when did you first start like your business like after
So
Talk about that winding road.
right. So my profession now is 12, 13 years ago. Like I said, I had to do a lot of jobs that I didn't want to do, which continually made me unsatisfied with, you know, there's more that I can do. And I know that, and I'm still seeking that. You guys may be very, and hopefully you are. That's why right now is you're lucky to have this class and to start really thinking about that. Is, you know, what are, just make a list, 5 jobs, 10 jobs that I think I might be interested in, and you start seeing the things that you know that you have, that you need to have to be able to do that, and see if it's something that would work for you.
You talked about a lot of bad jobs over the years you had to work through, but I bet some of those jobs you gained skills that still help you to this day.
Yeah, definitely. Just adding to, driving you to, you don't want to live your life like that. And I have a family and a daughter now, so like, when you're only having to worry about yourself, your needs aren't as great. You're allowed to be a little more self-involved, but you know, you're gonna need to make more money, have more time, sacrifice more. So all jobs like that definitely are a driving force in not being lazy, not being complacent, and working hard.
Any other questions? Here,
Oh man,
I should have told them they get like a bonus point for any
I
question.
know.
wait, so I get it.
Yeah, Lydia gets a bonus.
Okay.
Here we go.
Sessions do you do per day?
It could vary. It could be 10. It could be, it could be 5. And that could be, half hours, hours. That's like I was saying before. Even though I have a lot of freedom, being my own business, which has a lot of upsides, but the downside in that too is I don't just check in at 8 o'clock, get off at, I don't usually get done with work until 8:30. That's why I'm able to be here today, right now. Your teachers are on the back half of their day, as hard as they work. But I'm going to work when I leave here. So
How important is or how much do you have to do about helping people with their dietary plans, things like that? Are you involved with that?
so I have a nutrition certification as well, and that's a big thing. Now, like I even do, like there's people that they're a little more advanced maybe, so they can work out on their own, but I will sell them meal plans online. So, they just need a little bit of help when it comes to their nutrition, and they're more comfortable being on their own. They don't really need that aspect of coming to the gym. They're motivated with that, but it's like I touched on before. It becomes a lot bigger issue the older you get, but uh, the sooner you can start eating better, you guys will feel better. And it's you a lot of times you really don't know how you will think clearer, you'll feel better, you won't get sick as much normally. Uh, and a lot of times we're just kind of we don't even know because we're so used to eating a certain way. Uh, and I'm speaking from experience because I used to eat Taco Bell probably 10 times a week. So,
Any other questions? Bonus point questions? Ms. Ballard, any questions?
No, but I have enjoyed listening. Doesn't seem like I was listening, but I was.
Have you ever had to break up with a client?
I have for multiple reasons, but it's whether it's no showing, multiple times. I've had learned the hard way as far as I was training two guys that lived in a different country. They came here, worked for a while. They always paid me on time. They could barely speak English, so I had, that hurdle. Sometimes would have an interpreter, sometimes not. Uh, the last payment, it was a pretty decent sum of money, and I learned the hard way that I lost out on that. Uh, and it's like I said, meeting a lot of different types of people is a very educational thing. And sometimes that education is opens your mind to great things, and sometimes it opens your mind to lessons that you're not going to learn again, hopefully.
Yes, Lydia.
Kind of.
Oh, it was India. Yeah.
Cool. All right. How many clients ballpark would you say you have at any given time?
It could range, including online. It could be 20. It could be 30. It could be, and then some months it could some of those people, they may quit for you know 6 weeks. Then they may come back. There's a lot of that. I have people that's kind of depending on their work, their families, whatever. They'll kind of consistently do that. But I get that, and just am glad when they come back. So,
All right. Thank you, Mr. Shoun. Appreciate it.
thank you.
What do you say?
Thank